Have you ever made a paper airplane so good that you thought, I gotta make a huge version of that, see what it does? I have that thought almost every time I make a paper airplane, so we're gonna do it. Launch in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna start with the Suzanne. It's gonna be kind of our baseline. It currently holds the world record, and it's a pretty common one, so let's do it. All right, they don't have this locking it, but I prefer one that's locked, so I'm gonna go ahead and fold that up, but the Suzanne glider doesn't technically have that. There's the Suzanne glider with a lock modification. All right, this one is called the Nakamura lock, and it is probably the most common one that you've seen. This is the one that I typically make. The Suzanne glider is more like straight and fast. The Nakamura lock is gonna be more of like a glider, so it's more stable and floaty. This last one is just called the glider, and it's probably the most floaty of all of them. That'll do. We've got our Suzanne glider. First contender. More of a dart, makes sense. Curved a little bit, probably because I made it weird. We've got the Nakamura lock. Definitely was gliding more. Again, curved, but that was because of me. And then we've got our standard glider. Ooh, that's a good glider. That might be our ticket, folks. Let's make that giant. So, it's going to be 10 feet wide and 10 feet long. First, I'm gonna clean up the edges, I'm gonna glue it together, and then I'm gonna trace out the top. Let's get started. All right. Basic shape achieved. Now we gotta do the middle part of the bottom. I've got this middle fin on, what would be the bottom of the paper airplane. I'll have to do some more shaping and stuff, but it's pretty good. I'm gonna put a bead of caulk around the edge of this. I just replaced the liquid nails with this caulk. I'm gonna go around the edge. That should dry a little bit quicker, and then we can keep working tomorrow. If we're gonna carbon fiber this thing, and I've never done any carbon fiber before, not the whole thing obviously, we're just gonna do like the edges to make it strong, but I've never done it before, so if you wanna see me mess up carbon fiber, stick around. So I'm gonna make a little relief cut here. I'm just gonna freehand it, but I'm just gonna go from the back here to this edge so that the air, as it passes over the top and bottom, will have a central place to go and hopefully keep the plane center as it's flying through the air. So, see if it works. See? Nice. I like it. Last thing I'm gonna do before I stop for the evening is I'm going to secure the front a little bit better, and I'll show you what I mean. I've got this aluminum bar here, just a U shape, you see that? I'm going to go ahead and put this on here so that it's bridging where this connects and makes it a little bit stronger. All right, I'm gonna get in trouble from the wife. I'm being too noisy. But I think this is gonna work at least a little. I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm gonna glue down a piece for each of these because the liquid nails isn't doing much. So I think I'm gonna switch to silicone, and I'm going to, or epoxy. Do I just epoxy the dang things? I've added this black insulation. It's just for like water lines and stuff so it doesn't freeze in the winter. Just this stuff, it's got this sticky material. And so I've just stuck it there and then I'm gonna cover over it with carbon fiber. I'm putting this aluminum on the lead edge, hopefully give it a little bit more structure, keep those pieces together. I'm gonna epoxy and carbon fiber the connections basically. And that's probably not gonna do enough, but I'm gonna do it anyway and we're gonna see. All right, it's time. Time for me to fail at carbon fiber. It'll be fun though. We're gonna try it. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this carbon fiber sheet down. I don't need it to be so wide, but I need more of it, so. I've used a combination of liquid nails, epoxy, and just indoor-outdoor waterproof caulk, paintable. The goal is to, well, number one, obviously keep it together. I think that the liquid nails and the caulk are not working. I think the epoxy and the carbon fiber are working really well. I'm just putting a little bit of extra epoxy on the front here, just to make it a little bit stronger. I don't have any more carbon fiber, so I'm just gonna put some of this stuff on here, extra layering. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. Looks really cool though. I'm just gonna let it drain. I don't really care. That is where we leave it. As soon as this is all dry, I'm gonna paint it and then we'll test it out. And then again, let us know in the comments, do you want us to motorize it? Or do you want me to ride it? We'll see. While that dries, I'm gonna go sleep. All right, let's get to painting. Gotta make this thing look like paper. All right, we're going to paint the top of this. So you're probably wondering why I'm not using like spray paint, because it would probably go way faster. And it's because this type of foam, well, most types of foam, will get just absolutely destroyed by spray paint. The aerosol, the stuff that makes it an aerosol makes it very caustic and it makes it so it eats away this stuff like crazy. That also made glue options more prohibitive. Luckily, epoxy in its combined form doesn't eat away at that too much. Separate, it looked like it was doing something crazy, but what do I know? All right. Let's try to get this thing on here. This will be a testament to the weight of it, I guess. If it's gonna be light enough to fly or balanced enough to fly straight. Looks like it might be tipping to the left a little bit. That's partly because it's kind of curved where my head is at, to be honest. Oh, I'm gonna want it to be upside down though, huh? All right, let's be smart about this guy. Look at how big this thing is. Oh, it's insane. Dang tree. Ah. That is nuts. I think the question's becoming, is it gonna break on the way down there? Or am I gonna get pulled over on the way down there? All right, let's see. I'm going to try our original. Bend these down a little bit, make it more realistic. Hopefully we get at least that far. That's the goal. Now it is upside down right now, so I'm going to put it here. I'm gonna turn it around. I think we're pretty well balanced, to be honest. I don't know that it's gonna survive, but it's gonna be fun anyway. Okay, currently the plan is to try to throw this as hard as I can, which is probably not gonna work super well because I'm not very strong. And then we are going to, and then I'm gonna try to chase it as far as it'll go. I don't know how far it'll go. Maybe I'll beat it. Maybe I won't. We shall see. You ready, Frank? You can chase me? Let's do this. I'm gonna get as much runway as I can. Ready? Launch in 3, 2, watch out, Frank. 1. Whoa! Oh man, that was wild. I didn't crash. I thought I was gonna crash and burn there. All right, so obviously we had a crash. Looking back at the footage though, I can tell that it tried to lift, right? So maybe with some weight on the front end, it would have been a lot more capable of just actually gliding. Definitely repairable. I plan on doing that. It'll take just a little bit more carbon fiber work, maybe another aluminum bar across the back itself so that it can really stabilize. I think that purple foam is definitely enough to keep something afloat as far as like surface area and air displacement compared to weight. We've got it, we're there. I think that the shape is not ideal, but that being said, we're not going for something that's beating any kind of records other than just being huge and super freaking cool. Despite being a single layer thick, my first time ever doing any kind of carbon fiber work, it held that wing together, even flapping, you know, up and down the hill, trying to get it back onto the car before I could tie it up. It did super well. So I have all the confidence in the world that if I put another bar across the back, we put some carbon fiber across the whole thing, stabilize that rear a lot. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends, stuff like that. We would love to see you in the next one. We're doing some crazy stuff around here. Last week, survival kit, and I drank my own pee. That tastes like tap water. And this week we built this crazy airplane. We would love to see you on the next one. Stick around, find out what we do. It's probably gonna be random.